Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands, and today I'm sharing with you another layout for Hey Little Magpie. This time I'm using Simple Stories Simple Snapshots collection, and I really do like this collection. There's lots of beautiful icons in this. So for the base of this layout, I'm using the Take the Shot paper. It's got these Polaroids on one side and like a blue seaside sea image on the other. So I've actually cut it all up into the individual pieces, and there are 12 in total on that paper. I've picked out some to do like a column style layout, and at the moment I've been quite choosy about the colours that I've picked. I've gone with the yellows, the pinks, but I will be adding in some other colours as well. On the left I've got lots of the ephemera in the tray there, and something that I particularly like that they've done with this range is they've got some Polaroid bits and pieces, and I'm going to use two of those as well that I've picked. The one at the top with the camera and the one at the bottom with the ice creams. In fact, the ice creams are the theme of this whole layout. We have a bit of a joke in our family that if you haven't had an ice cream, then it's not a holiday. And I totally believe this. It doesn't matter where we are in the country or where we are in the world. I need to have an ice cream. So I think we maybe didn't have one in Iceland, but I'm not sure. Makes me think maybe we did. Anyway, so there are some pictures of ice cream that I've already printed. A small one of myself holding one recently this year, and then trying some flavours on a holiday last year. I do like to try out the local flavours as well. I think that it's just one of those things that tells you a bit more about a place if you're trying to discover a holiday destination. I've got beautiful memories of eating honeycomb ice cream in Cornwall, for example, and it's all part of the memories and the experience. So if you're not into it, it's such a shame, but ice cream is, yeah, it's one of my things. So it deserves a layout, doesn't it? And that's what it's getting this time. So I'm going to use these 4 Polaroids and 2 Polaroid bits and pieces as the base. I'm going to eventually raise them all up, and I'm adding some decoration in varying degrees to all of them. I feel like they all need a little bit. The 2 Polaroids I'm going to add less to because they're smaller, and I really love that. That's the big, from the big die cut bits and pieces, the deck chair and umbrella. And I think by adding that, it adds in all the other colours. So it doesn't matter how much of all the other colours I add, they're all there. And we know they go together because it's all part of the collection. But I am using the yellows and pinks as the base, if that makes sense. I brought in one of the Hey Little Magpie die cut frames there, and I'm going to die cut a stripy frame. I was going to use it with the camera card on the top left, but I will use it elsewhere. Just feel it's very similar size to the camera, so not showing up enough. So I will use it on the one of the others. This one with the large chipboard ice cream, I believe, just to tuck in around the photo, and yet again add a few more colours in. I've also brought in the tag die, which is another exclusive for Hey Little Magpie, and I've cut a stripy tag as well. Just getting those colours in there. I decided I wanted to use the Summer Fun big die cut as my title, and I'm going to add it on that bottom right Polaroid. I actually cut out some of the white that was surrounding it. The gap between the flags was full, and I cut that out, but then I actually then recut the little circles that were on it so I could add them like the confetti feel to that card. So I didn't waste anything. Because I wanted to raise it up, I didn't want it to be as solid as it originally looked. I'm now going to put together all the cards and add all the embellishments onto them, usually with a bit of foam, knowing me, and I do cut down my foam pads just to make them the right size. So I'm going to add all the decoration I can to each of the cards. Some of the stickers I've backed onto a little bit of pattern paper leftovers so that they also can help pop and also lift them up a little bit. And I've also used some of the foam stickers too, that Yay, for example, and I'm going to bring in some of the cameras as well, and they're all off the foam stickers set. So I'm quite pleased with the placement so far, and I've decided I'm going to do some mixed media on the background. So using a pencil, I'm just marking the corners of the Polaroids on the cardstock. Now this is a textured basil cardstock because I don't want a good stamped image, if that makes sense. I'm using the Tim Holtz Brushstrokes stamps. I'm not using them with a block. I'm going to just use them by hand because I don't want a good stamped image. So I picked some colours that I think will go with the cards that I originally picked. So there's a yellow, an orange and a couple of shades of pink. And I just want a bit of colour poking out either side. So it doesn't matter that it looks a bit rough to the start at the start here. Bear with me, as all I can say. And at the moment I'm using one stamp with each colour just to save me having to wipe them off, because you won't tell which is which stamp when I've finished. I have to say I've had this stamp collection for some time and it's probably the one I use the most with backgrounds. I think it gives you a real confidence to do your own thing. You also need to appreciate while you're doing this that the stamping is not going to be the feature. It's not the main thing that's going to catch your eye. It's there in the background. So it's essentially going to be a mixed media background, okay? Just to layer everything else up on, and it is just another layer. So I am dabbing off the first of the ink on that piece of paper, right, tapping it off there, because I don't want harsh lines. I just want these little bits of colour that you notice but you don't notice either side. And that's why having the pencil marks really helps figure out where those cards are. I don't want to poke it out too much either side or top and bottom and make it more obvious than I really want it to be. So the idea of adding the embellishments to the cards first meant that I can bring them in, I can see where they hang over, because a couple of them do, and that way I can get the ink in exactly the right place. Now, something I would say is the more of the stamping I did, I felt the braver that I got. Also, I have a little mantra that is, it's just a piece of cardstock. And it is exactly that. I can guarantee you have an identical piece somewhere in your stash. So therefore, if it's not what you want at the end, it's not the end of the world. See, when you look at that with the stamping on there, you're like, really? Is that what she's going to use? But actually, once I start to stick some of this down, it actually just adds another level. It's very difficult to see in the light, unfortunately, because a lot of it is covered up, but if you'll see it in the close-ups. So I'm just going to see if there's any little bits and pieces that I want to add. I do come in with the little dots that go with this collection, the enamel dots, and I add a couple to the cameras just to add another 3D element. And I think I've added one to the sun there as well. And I'm just double checking, making sure I've not overlooked anything in the collection, because there's so many lovely pieces and I want to make sure there is nothing that I've left. I think I add a little heart as well. But that's the finished layout. Thank you so much for watching. Check out this collection in the store, and I hope to see you here again real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.